I want to specify this from a betting standpoint. Bama was up 28-0 at one point. Jalen Milroe completed 82% of his passes and 7 yards a carry, as I mentioned. Ryan Williams had nearly 200 yards. Georgia lost the turnover battle 4-1. Georgia averaged 3.1 yards per carry. Bama's receivers won. Bama's perimeter run game dominated. Georgia was missing its best front seven player. And Bama only won by 1 possession. Georgia had a chance. Despite everything going south in this game, Georgia actually had a chance to win this game. They lost the turnover margin 4-1. And they had a chance. Look, I was wrong. Bama won, and I get that. I'm going to get philosophical. Sigmund Freud. Is that the right pronunciation? I'm not so much of a philosophy guy, but I will say, has this philosophical thought process called process-based thinking over ends-based thinking. And there's a time and a place in life when to use both. I typically align with the process-based thinking. But I'll say this. When you analyze yourself by the ends-based thinking of philosophy, you only see the scoreboard. But not everything else is factored. If you look at the scoreboard, you're missing a lot of freaking context. And guess what? I would take Georgia. They were minus 125. I would take Georgia 10 times out of 10 at that price. Would I predict Carson Beck to turn the ball over 4 times, 10 times out of 10? Probably not. Would I predict Ryan Williams to have 200 yards another 10 times? Probably not. I get it. Alabama won. I accept my losses. But this is the time. This is the time right here and right now to bet on Georgia to win the national championship. I remember last year when Alabama ended up losing last year, I thought to myself, okay, you know what? I'm going to hammer Alabama. They were plus 2,800 to win the national championship. And you know what? I was probably one play away from that happening. I'll say that. Georgia is at its best value right now. They're around plus 750. I like that. I like that value. I would bet on them to win the national championship. Or what you could do too, you could wait for them to lose to Texas. If they do. I'm not saying they will. To possibly lose to Texas, and then their value will be exponentially high for them to win the championship. But anyway, crazy game, amazing game. I'm not saying that, oh my gosh, I was right the whole time, that Georgia should have won and I got unlucky or this and that. Georgia had opportunities to win the game and they just simply gave it to the other side. From a process-based thinking standpoint, which is the process you need to have when you're betting. You can't just look at the scoreboard and say that a team is defined by wins and losses when you're trying to truly predict teams. That's for the playoff committee. That's the playoff committee's job. That's not our job. I would pick Georgia 10 times out of 10. At that price, minus 125. I would. Because for all of that to go wrong, and for all of that to go wrong and for them to still be in the game, shows how good they are as a team. On the road, too. That atmosphere, I haven't seen Bryant Denny like that in a long, long time. Since I was like a second grader. Honestly, since I was that young, man. They were a home underdog for the first time since 2007 when Ryan Williams was born, by the way, which is a pretty crazy stat itself. But anyway,